stop for a moment, take a deep breath before you continue watching. Because what I am about to tell you could completely change how you will navigate the next 48 hours of your life. The new moon of June 15th opens tomorrow, but what will be planted in this portal has already begun to be prepared throughout this entire week. And if you are feeling a racing mind, strange dreams, a desire to disappear from the world, conversations lingering in your head, a mental exhaustion that seems to come from nowhere, an unusual sensitivity, a desire to cry for no apparent reason, a sensation that something is ending inside you without you being able to name what it is. No, it is not a coincidence. It is the portal approaching. It is the universe knocking at your door before you even open your eyes to perceive it. In this video, I will reveal to you the 7 spiritual mistakes that cause most people to completely waste the energy of the new moon in Gemini. And more than that, I will show you how to master this energy with silence, with presence, and with clarity, so that this portal does not roll over you but passes through you. Because the main mistake, and pay close attention to this, is not failing to perform a ritual. The main mistake is arriving on the day of the portal with a mind that is too full, too noisy, and still too attached to the old life, the old version, the old pain, the old story that you swore you would leave behind during the last moon, the last cycle turn, the last year, and which still remains inside you asking to be looked at head-on. But before I give you the 7 mistakes, you need to understand what this new moon is truly opening. Because if you think it is just a night to ask for things, to write a little list of wishes in a notebook, and wait for the universe to deliver, I guarantee you have already started to understand it the wrong way, and by the end of this video you will understand why. The new moon of June 15th does not appear in isolation in the sky. It is the apex of an astrological sequence that began earlier, and that has been preparing you in silence, even if you haven't perceived it consciously. Between June 11th and June 15th, Mercury approached Venus and Jupiter, and this created a very specific atmosphere, an atmosphere of messages arriving, of signs appearing in the most unexpected places, of more intense spiritual communication, of repeated thoughts about the same person or situation, those famous intuitive downloads, when an idea arrives in your head out of nowhere, and you feel that it is bigger than you, that it did not come from you, that it passed through you as if it were a transmission. Did you write down any ideas this week? Did you dream of someone you hadn't seen in a long time? Did you feel the urge to send a message to someone and held back? Did you have a sudden realization about an old subject? All of this is Mercury dancing with Venus and Jupiter, opening paths of consciousness before the portal. On June 12th, Uranus in Gemini entered into tension with the lunar nodes, and this configuration is one of the most powerful of the year. It brings the energy of destiny breaking, sudden changes, an uncontrollable desire to break old patterns, and that strange yet deeply real sensation that some lines of your life simply cannot continue the way they were. Perhaps you have felt a nameless anger these days, a different impatience, a desire to flip the table on some situations that you had been tolerating for a long time. This is not emotional loss of control. This is the universe showing you in slow motion that your destiny is being recalibrated from within. When Uranus touches the lunar nodes, what is out of purpose shakes, what is out of truth crumbles, and what is ready to be born begins to push its way out. On June 13th, Venus entered Leo, and the emotional vibration changed in a profound way. After so much sensitivity, so much internal cleansing, so much silence, so much kept-in weeping, so much spiritual exhaustion, the calling emerges to recover your shine, to recover your self-esteem, to recover your magnetism, to recover the recognition you stopped giving yourself, to recover that inner voice that used to say, "I deserve it," without needing to shout, to recover the right to occupy space without apologizing, to recover the confidence to exist without asking permission for anything or anyone. Venus in Leo is the breath of courage that comes after the rain. It is the sun drying the soul that had been soaked. It is the cosmic reminder that you did not come here to hide. And now on the 14th and 15th, all of this flows into the new moon in Gemini. This is the planting point for this entire week. It is not just a new lunar cycle. It is a new mind being formed after signs, ruptures, reconnection with your own worth, and deep spiritual preparation. It is a new way of thinking being born within you, a new way of talking to yourself, a new way of interpreting what happens in your life. Because Gemios is not just communication with the external world. Gemios is, above all, the communication you have with your own consciousness. It is the internal dialogue. It is the story you tell yourself about who you are, about what you deserve, about what is possible for you. And it is this internal dialogue that is being rewritten now. Therefore, if you felt your mind more accelerated this week, more symbolic dreams, strange conversations with unexpected people, a desire to distance yourself from almost everyone, or a silent confidence starting to return after a long time, do not treat this as a coincidence. The whole week was preparing the ground for this moment, and that is exactly why the mistakes I am going to show you now are so dangerous. Because they make you waste everything that the universe spent the entire week stitching inside you in silence. So let's get to the first one. The first mistake, and perhaps the most common of all, is starting the portal day with external noise. You wake up on the 15th, and the first thing you do is grab your phone. Notifications, accumulated messages, news, social media, group audio messages, and even worse, excessive spiritual content. 20 different videos, 10 different tarot readers, 5 different predictions, all trying to tell you what this new moon means before you even hear what it is saying within you. And here is the truth that no one tells you. The first hours before the portal are extremely sensitive. Whatever enters your consciousness first dominates your mental field for the entire day. If the first voice you hear is the algorithm, it is the algorithm that will plant in your new moon, not you. If the first emotion you feel is the anxiety of the news, it is that anxiety that will sign your portal, not your intention. Therefore, on the 15th, before anything else, before the phone, before the TV, before any conversation, spend at least 15 minutes with yourself, in silence, feeling, breathing, listening. This is the first act of mastery over the energy of the new moon. The second mistake is trying to force a specific result, using the new moon as if it were a delivery machine. Bring this person back, make this happen by such and such date, give me exactly this amount, this job, this result, in this way. And so you close your eyes, you ask with all your might, you write it in your notebook, you repeat the phrase 1,000 times, and you wait for the universe to obey as if it were an assistant. But the new moon in Gemios does not work like that. Gemios is the sign that reveals the hidden narrative behind the request. So the right question is not, what do I want to happen? The right question is, what do I really want behind this desire? Because often, what you are asking for is not what you want. It is just what you learned to want. It is just what you were taught was right to desire. It is just what you saw others desiring and copied, thinking it was yours. And the new moon in Gemios came exactly to show you that difference, to separate true desire from borrowed desire, the real purpose from the imitation of someone else's purpose. And when you ask what I really want behind this desire, you open a door that no little list of requests ever would. You open the door to clarity. But the noise doesn't just come from the phone. Sometimes the greatest noise is trying to turn your spirituality into a performance. And that is where the third mistake comes in. The third mistake is turning the experience into a performance. Posting everything, telling everything, explaining everything. Proving to others that you are going through a spiritual activation, that you are feeling the portal, that you are in a profound moment, instead of living this experience first in silence, in the intimate corner of your soul where no one needs to enter. There is a thing few talk about regarding lunar portals, and it is this. Some perceptions lose their strength when exposed too soon. You feel something true, but instead of letting this truth ripen inside you, you rush to tell, to post, to explain to people who didn't even need to understand your transformation. And when you do that, you dilute what was forming. You open the pot before it's time. You pull the plant before the roots have taken hold. The portal asks for intimate presence first, external witness later, never the other way around. Some of your greatest revelations from this new moon need to be kept as seeds for at least a few days before turning into words. The fourth mistake is carrying unresolved conflict into the new moon. Arguments, impulsive messages, that urge to speak the truth to someone's face right now, before the 15th, to end it once and for all. Provocations, the need for an immediate response, wanting to settle unfinished business by shouting before the portal opens. And I need to tell you a sentence that might bother you, but it is exactly what this new moon is asking for. On the 14th and 15th, not every truth needs to turn into a conversation. Some truths first need to turn into awareness, because when you throw a truth into the world before it has ripened within you, it turns into a fight. It turns into drama. It turns into exhaustion. It turns into yet another cycle you can't close. When you let it ripen first, it turns into direction. It turns into a silent decision. It turns into the right action at the right time. And often, it turns into freedom without the need for confrontation. Gemini with Mercury in this configuration may give you the urge to say everything. But your spiritual maturity lies in knowing when to speak, who to speak to, and especially when silence is more powerful than any word. And after protecting the external silence and the internal silence comes the part that many completely ignore. You need to stop living the energy only in your head and allow the body to receive the portal as well. And that is where the fifth mistake lies. The fifth mistake is intellectualizing the energy, overanalyzing, over-researching, trying to decode every dream as if it were a riddle, looking for the meaning of every number you saw on the clock, on a license plate, on a receipt, trying to understand every sensation in your chest, every thought, every coincidence, until your intuition turns into anxiety, until your spirituality becomes just another source of mental fatigue. You open 5 tabs in your browser. You read 3 books at the same time. You ask 4 different people what each thing means. And at the end of the day, you are more confused than you were at the beginning. The energy of Gemini naturally accelerates the mind. So if you add analysis upon analysis, research upon research, doubt upon doubt, you are not mastering the portal. You are drowning in it. Mastering the new moon in Gemini requires something very simple but radical. Feel first, interpret later, in that order, always. When you invert this order, you lose intuition and gain mental noise. When you respect this order, you gain clarity with lightness. Sit down first. Let the sensation flow through your body. Let the truth arrive before the explanation. Later, if necessary, interpret, but only later. The 6th mistake is neglecting the body. Sleeping poorly the night before. Spending the 15th day fueled only by caffeine, stress, the rush, on autopilot. Not drinking water. Not taking a single deep breath. Not going outdoors for even 5 minutes. Ignoring the fatigue. Ignoring the physical signs your body is giving you. That pain in your neck, that tightness in your chest, that sensation of being locked in your shoulders. Because you think a spiritual portal is just a soul thing. It isn't. Your body is the door. If the door is closed, locked, tense, exhausted, intoxicated, the portal's energy passes over you without leaving anything behind. The body is the filter. The body is the temple. The body is where the spiritual meets the material. Without it, the new moon just becomes a date on the calendar. That is why on the 15th you should do something simple and physical. Drink water mindfully, feeling every sip. Take a conscious shower, feeling the water wash away more than just skin. Washing away the previous day, washing away the entire week, washing away repetitive thoughts. Go for a short walk, even if it's just around the block, feeling the ground under your feet and the air entering your lungs. Breathe slowly 3 times before any important decision. Eat something light, something alive, something that gives energy instead of taking it away. And above all, stay in silence for a few minutes without screens, without sound, without stimulus, so your body understands that receiving the new is not a danger. It is rest. That opening space is not a threat. It is expansion. But there is one final mistake, and I need you to pay double attention now. Because this mistake can waste everything, even if you do all the other 6 steps correctly. Even if you wake up in silence, even if you don't try to force results, even if you don't perform, even if you don't fight with anyone, even if you feel before interpreting, even if you take care of your body. If you commit this 7th mistake, everything else is lost. The 7th mistake is not integrating anything afterward. It is feeling something strong on the night of the new moon, crying, having a realization, writing in your journal, swearing to yourself that something has changed. feeling that deep certainty that this time it will be different, and the next day returning to the same noise, the same conversations, the same habits, the same repetitive thoughts about the same people, the same mental narrative you had before the portal, as if nothing had happened. And that is why so many people live portal after portal, new moon after new moon, cycle after cycle, and nothing truly changes in their lives. Because they feel, but they do not integrate. They live the peak, but they abandon the plateau. They have the revelation, but they do not build the bridge between the revelation and everyday life. And a revelation without a bridge does not change your life. It just becomes a beautiful memory. So let me remind you of everything this week has stitched together for you. Mercury with Venus and Jupiter brought messages, signs, intuitive downloads. Uranus with the nodes provoked a break in destiny, a rupture with old patterns, the sensation that some threads need to be interrupted. Venus in Leo reignited your confidence, your glow, your right to occupy space. And now the new moon in Gemini arrives to plant a new mind, a new way of thinking, a new way of communicating with yourself. All of this for you. All of this because of you. All of this cannot be wasted the next day because of distracted scrolling on your phone or a conversation that pulled you back to the old. That is why I'm going to give you one final, very simple practice that changes everything. Before or during the 15th, take a piece of paper, open the Notes app on your phone, anywhere you can write, and write a single sentence. Just one. The new mind I choose to plant is, and complete it with truth. No frills, no performance, nothing that would look good to post. Just what is alive inside of you at that moment. It can be a mind that trusts. It can be a mind that lets go. It can be a mind that rests. It can be a mind that chooses itself first. It can be a mind that stops proving. It can be a mind that silences the past. Whatever it is, write it with truth. And then, in the next 24 hours, take a single action, however small, coherent with that sentence. A conversation you put off because the new mind knows how to wait. A silence you choose because the new mind doesn't need to explain itself. A habit you break because the new mind no longer lives there. A message you don't send because the new mind doesn't chase. A message you finally send because the new mind has courage. Anything that proves to your unconscious that the new mind is not a theory. It is a decision. It is not poetry. It is action. It is not desire. It is choice. Because do you know what separates those who change from those who only dream of changing? It's not the size of the revelation. It's the size of the first action after the revelation. And this first action doesn't need to be big. It needs to be coherent. It needs to be in the direction of the new mind. It needs to be a step, even a small one, that says to the universe, I have received, I have understood, I am moving. And if this video touched something inside you, if at any moment you felt a tightness in your chest, a desire to cry, an identification with any of the 7 errors, or that sensation of finally someone put into words what I was feeling, comment down below the phrase, "Eu attraverso como nova mente." And tell me also which of these 7 errors you promise to avoid this new moon. Because when you write, you sign a commitment to the portal. When you write, you take the intention out of the diffuse internal world and place it into the concrete world. And the universe responds to the concrete. The universe responds to decision. The universe responds to those who choose with clarity. The new moon of June 15th doesn't just open a portal in the sky. It opens a portal in the way you think, in the way you speak, in the way you choose, and in the way you interpret your own life. But this portal doesn't need noise. It needs presence. It doesn't need performance. It needs truth. It doesn't need control. It needs space. It doesn't need haste. It needs depth. It doesn't need an audience. It needs an inner witness. The whole week has prepared you for this. The messages have come. The signs have come. The internal ruptures have come. The glow has begun to return. Confidence has begun to breathe again. The right people have begun to draw near, and the wrong ones have begun to drift away without you needing to do anything. And now, when the new moon opens, it won't just plant what you ask for with words. It will plant what is alive inside you at the moment of the portal. Therefore, take care of what is alive inside you in the coming hours. Take care of the silence. Take care of your breathing. Take care of the truth. Take care of your body. Take care of what you consume with your eyes, with your ears, with your soul. So enter light, enter conscious, enter whole, enter true, enter with the new mind.